Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are very excited because we are going to be sharing with you the best things to do in Canyonlands National Park near Moab, Utah.
We have been to this national park twice now over the past 2 years and have spent a ton of time there. So we have a lot of tips for you guys and all of our best recommendations.
As the largest national park in Utah, Canyonlands offers a diverse range of landscapes, trails, and activities. The Colorado and Green River divide this park into 3 districts: the Island in the Sky, the Needles District, and the Maze.
The Island in the Sky is famous for short trails and panoramic viewpoints. It's really easy to access and also can be easily seen in a day. The Needles District is more focused around hiking and has a lot of really unique one-of-a-kind rock formations. It also offers several multi-day backpacking trips, but it is a little bit harder to get to and not as popular as Island in the Sky.
And then the Maze District is actually only recommended for very experienced backpackers. Most people go in there for like 3 to 5 days minimum, and you have to have all of your survival gear with you. In this video, we are just going to be focusing on the Island in the Sky and the Needles District. The Island in the Sky, the most popular Canyonlands destination, is what we would recommend doing if you only have 1 day to see this national park. It's about 40 minutes from Moab, where there is a ton of hotels, restaurants. It's a 25-mile road that you will drive out and back on, so you can kind of mix up these stops if you'd like.
One thing we did want to mention being down there in our camper van, it was a little bit tricky to find wild camping in this area. There are a couple campgrounds in Island in the Sky, but you can wild camp in between Canyonlands National Park and Moab. Wild camping in Moab is also really difficult. There are some areas on iOverlander, which is the map that we use for van life. Super handy map. Recommend you check those out. The first viewpoint you're going to come to is Schaefer Canyon Overlook, and it is so cool. The parking lot is really small here, but it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to walk out and get the incredible view of Schaefer Trail that winds 1,500 feet along the canyon below you. It is very unique and well worth the stop.
This is one place that if the parking lot is full, I think there's only room for 2 or 3 vehicles, you could always hit on your way out as well. The next place you'll come to is called the Mesa Arch. So this is a very short hike. It's only about 1.1 kilometers and 27 meters of elevation gain. And this is a very, very popular place for sunrise. It's probably one of the most photographed places in Canyonlands National Park.
So be sure to get there very early, and you're probably going to be hanging out with a couple other photographers.
We actually did not go to the Mesa Arch for sunrise. We went somewhere else, which we're going to talk about later, which we'd recommend because while everybody was crammed up trying to take pictures of the Mesa Arch, we had another beautiful viewpoint all to ourselves.
The parking lot here is pretty big, probably room for 20 to 30 vehicles, so
Yeah.
you shouldn't have a problem finding a spot.
And you really can go here any time of the day. It's beautiful. If you are planning a trip to Utah, we have a travel guide for adventure lovers that covers all of our favorite places in this beautiful state. This guide details everything you need to know about traveling through Utah, including the best hikes, natural hot springs, activities, photo spots, where to stay, the best way to get around, and super helpful tips on wild camping and finding amenities for van lifers. Covering all 5 national parks in detail, plus a ton of hidden gems outside of the parks, let us do all the research so that all you have to worry about is enjoying your trip. This guide is an instant download and we cannot wait to share it with you. We have already got so much great feedback on it. We will link it below. Make sure to check it out.
Next up is Buck Canyon Overlook. If you have time to make this stop, we would definitely recommend it. Right off the road, park, get out, and enjoy the view.
Next, we have White Rim Overlook. So this is where David and I actually went for sunrise instead of going to the Mesa Arch, and we would highly recommend it. They have a bit of a bigger parking lot, but we had this place all to ourselves, and it was absolutely phenomenal. The hike to the viewpoint is 2.9 kilometers round trip with 50 meters of elevation gain, and you just get crazy views out over different layers of canyon and rock, and it is absolutely beautiful. Just about the entire rim of this canyon is made up of white rim sandstone, which makes it a lot lighter, so you can just see that contrast so much better.
Next up is possibly the most popular lookout in Canyonlands National Park, and it is called the Grand View Point Overlook. It's about 3 kilometers and 22 meters of elevation gain from the parking lot, but it is well worth the view. It's just spectacular. Again, looking out over the completely unique landscape, and it's best to do this one during sunrise or sunset.
And finally, you will stop at Green River Overlook. This was our favorite viewpoint, and we'd recommend going for sunset. There's pretty much drive-up access here. There's like a very small hike to the viewpoint, but we found a very cool spot. If you just go to the right a little bit, there's a little path and it will lead you around to where you can stand on what looks like a massive cliff.
Sends shivers up my spine right now talking about it because it's just insane, but well worth it. You've probably seen this location on Instagram. This is, in our opinion, the best sunset spot in Canyonlands National Park.
That's a bold statement. I actually have a different favorite sunset spot coming up, but this one's really good.
Next up, we're going to dive into the Needles District. The Needles District is about an hour and a half southwest of Moab. It's not in the same access point as Island in the Sky. There is like no cell coverage here. No. It's much more remote, so be sure to bring a GPS emergency device and lots of water and a Starlink if you have one.
There are tons of different trails here, but we are going to talk about our favorite two, the first being Chesler Park Loop. This hike is 15.4 kilometers with 550 meters of elevation gain, and it brings you through some of the most beautiful landscapes in the entire park. This stunning trail has a variety of terrain, including scrambles, caves, slots, and wide open fields of wildflowers. We'd recommend hiking counterclockwise. This will save you from enduring the grueling switchbacks at the end of your hike. If you're up for a challenge, you can combine this with the Druid Hike Trail, which we're going to talk about next, but that makes it over 20 kilometers with quite a bit of elevation gain, so make sure you bring lots of food and water.
The Druid Arch Trail was one of our favorite hikes when we were in Canyonlands National Park and Kaylee's favorite sunset spot.
Yes, it's actually one of our favorite hikes in all of Utah. It so is. Nice.
Yeah. This hike is 17.4 kilometers round trip and about 153 meters of elevation gain. You hike along the bottom of a canyon and the views are just exceptional.
When we hiked in for sunset, it was amazing because we had the entire trail to ourselves, but you definitely want to have a headlamp, extra food, extra water, and your GPS if you're hiking in for sunset, because the visitor center is closed and there's not a lot of people around. It's definitely a bit more of a remote feel.
We hope you guys enjoyed the video about Canyonlands National Park and our favorite places to see while you're there. If you have any questions or you'd like some more recommendations from us, be sure to hit us up in the comments below.
Make sure to check out our Utah travel guide. We think you guys will really love it, and we have spent quite a lot of time exploring this beautiful state. So we will link that below.
Like this video if you found it useful, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you next week.